how's the audio this morning? Can you hear me? Okay, Chung Yi, thank you. At the same time, can I invite one of you to volunteer to test your mic? Because you can hear me, I may not be able to hear you.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Okay.
Thank you. Chung Yi, thank you. In a minute, I will start the presentation. By the way, just a quick check again. How was the previous lecture? Any questions that you may have? Or was it very clear? Clear? No questions? Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's continue with the lecture on solving problems by searching. I think just check that. Make sure you guys use your UC College email address to log in. Otherwise, you get you're not allowed to come in, so I have to allow you to come in and admit me. Okay, so this is the results of the little fun quiz we have. For some of you who actually participated, thank you. So it gave us a bit of a snapshot of why you're here. So I think the large proportion of you knows what you want. You want to be an engineer. And then for those of you who may not know, I think if I combine the want to change the world, want to have a better life, I think 20 plus 50, 50, 70%, nearly 3/4, not too bad, right? So roughly know why you're here, right? So for those who have not made up your mind yet, why you choose this particular program to study, or why you're here, maybe by the end of maybe this semester, it's not too late. I think you'll figure out, it's actually quite nice to be an engineer, right? So maybe that's why hopefully by the end of this semester, you may have see something that change your mind. Okay. Now, just a quick reminder. This is week 2. So our lab practicals will start next week onwards, right? So make sure you log in to the lab practicals starting on Monday. Unfortunately, those of us who in Selangor and in Kuala Lumpur, Klang Valley, we're having a enhanced MCO, so that traveling will be difficult. So I may have to use back my old home network, which may not be very good. So again, please be patient with me. So I know in case the network drops or whatever. So the thing is, starting next week, week 3, everything will be going full steam, meaning that lectures, tutorials, June. Good question. I'll come to that. The lab tutorial will start, so I think I will try to upload the tutorials after this for you to actually try it out first before you come to class. So you're advised to try the tutorial before you come to class, because due to lack of time, and also as I said before, in this new mode of lecturing, education is going to be slower. So I don't have much time to actually discuss all the questions. So it'd be good if you can help me out a bit, try out the questions, or at least look through them and roughly see which questions you think you have difficulty answering. Otherwise, I'll just try a few, especially those involving calculations, for you to actually see how calculations are done in the tutorial. Now back to the question that one of you posed. In June, I think software. Now the good news is this particular lab practical for this AI paper is only based on MATLAB. Now, if you do not have MATLAB, Oh, by the way, I think I forgot. You also have to upload. Maybe it's okay. I can do it later. You upload some of the additional MATLAB codes for your for the second lab practical, second module. This is on search. So that one, there will be some additional codes for you to try out. So for those of you who have difficulty getting the MATLAB software, you can actually try other equivalent, which is I think the Scilab. Let me try it out for you, in case you don't know what I'm saying. Okay, let me see here. Scilab is almost similar, but it's not exactly the same. Like I think you see before on the streets, is the T-shirt. They say same, but different, right? So does it answer the question? For those of you who have, if you have any more questions, please ask. Otherwise, I'll assume that you understand what I'm saying. So the lab practicals will be based on MATLAB. Now, if you have difficulty, try to install MATLAB. Any old version will do, because I think if you use the one in the lab, in our lab, it's actually very old. I think 1995 or something like that, 1997 or 205, is it? Way back. So it's the first version, I think, very old version. So it's okay if you cannot get hold of the latest version. So it's all right. But you need to have MATLAB. But it's based on the MATLAB, and actually it's only based on two of the two boxes. The first two boxes fuzzy logic, and the second two box is artificial neural networks, right? And then the third one is actually on, we don't need a toolbox. I will pass you I will share with you later on the codes for the lab on search. Now, a little bit about the first lab practical starting on Monday. It's basically a revision plus introduction. So I believe most of you have gone through MATLAB before, but maybe not recently. So there will be a revision to actually get you updated, get up to speed. Up to speed, okay, so that at least you know what you're doing and how does MATLAB works. So that one is, if you feel that you don't need to do it, it's okay, just come in. At least your attendance will be recorded, and then you can go on. And for my labs, I think as I said before, we are all adults, right? So you know what you're doing, right? So you know what you're doing and you take responsibility for what you're doing. Meaning that you can choose not to attend, or you can choose to come in and then go off or do something else. It's all right for me. Now, once you finish you feel that you've done enough in the practical and there are more urgent things for you to take care of, you can go off once you finish the lab. So you can only to stay. So to me, it's at least you should learn. I can't force you to learn. So that's the thing. What else? The lab practical. So yeah, the lab practical, as I said before, there's one assignment or one lab report that is based on the second lab, which is on search. So that is a individual assignment for the lab practical. That one will carry 40% of the coursework marks. The other 60% will come from the assignment. Clear? Okay. If there are no questions, I will continue where we left off. So I think if you can bear with me a little bit, let me fast forward to where we stopped this Wednesday. Now, while I'm doing this, any questions so far? I think it's basically the introduction. We talk about the what do you call it? The vacuum world, right? We should talk a little bit about the tree search. Okay, I think we stop roughly here. Breakfast, right? And can anyone remind me where we stop? I think we stopped at the breakfast search. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. I got to stop this. And let's start another one. And that's where we are. Now let's look at the first search. Okay, that is the breadth first search. Now, those of you who are familiar with the word breadth, it means that it is going horizontally. That's the simplest way of explaining it. It's going horizontally in terms of expanding the search. The search. So this is actually looking at basically one of the, I think a few of these simple search strategies or search algorithms. Right? So you have to look at them and then for you to understand and also appreciate them and later on you. Now, other than these simple search strategies, you also have the more advanced ones. That is basically I can think of is neural networks can also be used for searching. Why do we need to do search? Because searching actually is you're trying to find a solution to a problem. So you have to find a solution to a problem. So you're looking at the problem space. So how is your problem defined? What are the possible solutions, right? So in this case, you have to say, for example, find the, say you want to find this point. Hang on then. You want to find this goal node. So from A, how do I find G? So this is in terms of finding the destination, right? So if you were to expand this simple problem of finding the route or the route to point G, node G, it can be finding other similar type of can be mapped to other more difficult, more complex problems other than this finding a simple A to G. Is that clear enough? So how does the breadth first search work? It works by expanding the shallowest unexpanded node. So in this case, starting from A. So again, remember, we talked about this before. What are the 6 characteristics of a well-defined problem? So first of all, you need to know where you are. That's the first step, or first characteristic of a well-defined problem that search can actually find your answer. So in this case, you have A, which is your starting point. Now, your goal is actually, of course, the goal here is not stated here, but the goal is actually say you want to find G, right? So how does this breadth first search works? It works by expanding at this level. So at this level, nothing much, right? So this is only one now. If you go down to the next level, so after you finish expanding at this level, you will then proceed to the next level, which is here. Now, in this case, you can see here what are the nodes. There are actually 2 nodes here. So this is your what you call successor. And actually, if you look at it closely, it is a FIFO cube. Now, what is a FIFO cube? It is a first in, first out cube. So basically, take a look at it as you have to, form a queue, and then of course you have A, and then what comes after A. So the A, and then the next one will be either B or C. Let's try to understand why which one will take next. And of course, the successor, which is either B or C, will go into the end of the queue. So first in, first out. So that's the concept here. So you expand the shallowest unexpanded node. So we put next level here. Now, what are the unexpanded nodes? Which is shallowest one. So you don't go to next one first. So this is next level, and then of course you go deeper. So this is the shallowest level. So you can see I have 2 nodes here. So how do I look at it? How do I find the next find out my goal node? Right? So let's here and see here. So now assuming we pick the left hand side first. Of course, there's nothing to say that we cannot pick right hand side first. So from A, the next node is you choose to, at this level, if you say I choose this level, and I start from C, it's okay, you can start from C, but be consistent, right? In the sense that start from C, always start from C. No, start from right hand side, right? So the C, then the B. So now, in this example here, we say that we start from left hand side. From this level, and this level, we want to look at the left hand side first, the node. So we evaluate, right? So we have to evaluate. Remember, we talked about this before. We have to measure: is this our destination? Is this our goal node? They call it G. So are we there yet? So again, back to our example the other day. This is from KL to Penang. So from KL, you can't straight away go to Penang yet if you're driving. So the next one will be probably KL. Will say, for example, you choose Malacca. For some reason, you choose Malacca, right? You're going the other way. It's okay because this is basically a blank search. You don't know where you're heading. Just look for the nearest one. So assuming the next node is actually Malacca. So you check, is Malacca my destination? Is it where I want to go? Right. So in this case, from B here, is it the G? Right. So it's not. So you actually then move to the next one. So that's why in the case of this example, in this search strategy called breadth first, it will, instead of going down, you go horizontally. You go horizontally. Right. So that's where you go. So after you can see here, this is actually darkened now. From A, so your P4 Q. Your first and first Q will be after A, you put in the Q, E. The next one will be C, right? Now after you finish that, you check. So this is your strategy for creating the next point, the next answer to your Q. So in this case, you then check: is my level finished? Are there any more unexpanded nodes in that level? Right? If there's no, you only then can move to the next level. Only after you finish one level and there's no more unexpanded nodes at that level, you then move to the next one. Now notice here, since we started off always left hand side, we always go back left hand side again. That's a matter of I think convenience and also consistency. So if you start from left hand side, you go down next level, so left hand side again. So here you check because then you check what's the name of this node? It's called D. Now is D my destination? You know that your destination or the goal is actually G, so it's not. So you then move to the next one. Oh, sorry, move to the next one, right? Which is E. So assume they may be further note down here. So cannot see, you can see here. So there will be notes down here, but you do not go down. You go again horizontally, finishing the level. So in this case, you go to E. Then you check, is E my destination? No. Then you move to the next horizontal node, which is F. So of course, you must keep a record at that level, that horizontal level, which are the nodes at that level. So in this case, the next one will be F. Check again. Is it my destination? No. Right? And then you move to the next one, which is G now. So you check, is G my destination? Yes, then you stop. Otherwise, you proceed to the next level and it goes on. So this one, horizontally first. It is in a way saying that this is basically your idea behind your breakfast search. So far, so good. Right. Now, this is the example. I think some of you are familiar with this game. It's a board game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can buy it. Last time I remember buying it for you to play. So there's an empty piece here, right? You can move them around, move these things around. So organize them in whichever way you want. So this is a breakfast search example for this particular problem, right? Assuming look at the numbers here, they are randomly organized, randomly placed, right? 2 here, 8 here, 3. Let's say that I want to organize this into a clockwise, meaning that I want to, this will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to move him around so that I get this pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what you do, you can see this is okay. So maybe you move this down here. So no, you move this down here, or maybe move this 5 over here. So this will be an empty slot. And then your 4 move down here. So there's an empty slot. Then your this one down here, then you will be empty here. Some move down here, empty slot here, 4 down here. So this is 6 you move here. So this empty slot. Then you move down here. 8 is down here, right? So 8 is down here. So this one is an empty spot. Then you move 3 here. So I got this 1, 2, 3 organized. That's how it works. Right? Now, for those of you from MH who stayed back yesterday, now this is a good example of what you are trying to figure out yesterday. Why do we need AI? Can I use something like I think we talk about direct feedback? Huh? So in this case, this is a simple problem. Now, why do I say it's simple? Right? It's simple in the sense that it looks simple, right? But look at it. If I use what we call if we do not use our brain to move these things, it can be quite tricky, right? If we blindly try out various solutions, right? So from this simple configuration, right, this is one pattern or configuration. I can move by moving this empty slot. I can move it up, right? And then like the 6 down, I can move it to the right hand side, which is here. And the last one is of course move to the left hand side, right? Any more? Can I move any more? Basically, there's only 3 places I can move up. I can move up, and the 6 comes down. I can move to the left. I can move to the right. Right. So from here, this particular configuration, I can generate 3 possible configurations. So you can see here, these are empty slot. Now, what else can I try? Can I do? Okay. So this is my example where I want to, as I said before, this is the configuration I want. So instead of having the 1 down here, I want the 1 to start here, right? So, I mean, for some reason, I want 1 to be here. I don't just want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? I want the 1 to start here. I don't like it starting here. So it gives a new level of challenge to the person trying to solve this problem, right? So this is your goal state for this particular problem. I want to organize, I want to move. I want to create this pattern where my number 1 starts at the top left-hand corner. And then it should be in the clockwise direction. The numbers organized this way. Right? Simple enough again. Now, how difficult is this problem? How fast can you solve this problem? Right? Again, it comes back to, of course, we can solve this if it's given enough time. But try doing it with someone who's not familiar with this game, or I want it to be faster. I want it to be automated, that I can always solve this problem. See, that's what you are. So you see, from this simple initial configuration, I can generate so many different configurations. This is what we call by brute force. So it's a blind search. You just try to solve it. So if your software, if your AI, artificial intelligence agent, is able to organize this, right? Then of course, what is the best way to come down here? Because this one is your final answer. So how do I come down here to find this answer? So as I said, you can try using the breathless. So in this case, maybe breathless will be you try down here, you try this one, left hand side, right? So imagine this is rotated. This is my left hand side, and then I find this one. Is it what I want? Is this pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Then you try this level again. Center one here. Then you try this one. Right? No. I'm not nowhere near this one. So you go down next level. You try all these 3, and then next level all these 3, and sorry, not 3 anymore. So 5 already. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? And then here another punch. So after that, you find that I can find it after trying all these different configurations. So the map or what you call it, look at it, the answer will be somewhere here. All this up. This is my answer, right? So I can see here. Right. So this is good. So you can see that I would generate all the possible answers until I reach this one. Then you go back to see which one is your best answer. So you know this is. Any questions? Someone open the mic. Good.
Just to be sure, right? Because our goal was to make it like with the 1, 2, 3, 4,
Correct.
1 to 8, right? Slow it, right?
Correct.
So what happened to the
Clockwise.
what happened to the rest? Technically, since they all fail, right, wouldn't they just
Yeah.
continue on to infinite?
No. What do you mean all fail? You see,
yeah. You see the other outcomes, right? They didn't get
correct.
answers, ma.
Correct.
They're not going to stop, aren't they?
Correct. So first of all, using the breath first, you will try the left hand side. So imagine this rotator, right hand side. This one first. Is it my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. Right? Then you try this one. So you will try this one, number 3, number 4. Notice the numbers here.
I see. Now I understand.
Very good question. Xiaowei, thank you for pointing out. Again, you can see I understand the problem. I know how it works. But maybe some of you might find, sometimes I don't understand. Right? So let's see. So you have this tree structure set up. Then you will try to find the answer, this pattern. So you look at the first means what? Next level, which is this level, right? This is level 1. This is level 2, right? And so on and so forth. So you look at the left hand side first. Breakfast, man. So left hand side, this one. Is it my pattern? No. This one, then you go next level. You can't go down, right? Because it's breakfast means at the same level. So this one, is it what I want? No. What I want? No. Then only then anymore. After this, anymore, right? Anymore. So this one will ask you, anymore at this level? No. Then you can then proceed to the next level, which is here. So you can see here, this is number 4. The next one, number 5. You check again. Again, since we started left first, that's our strategy, always left first. So we try left first, right? Is this pattern our pattern? No. Then you move to the next one in this level. This one. No. Then you go on. Any more from this level? No more. So you proceed to the next level here. And it goes on. After that, you go on. So after 27 steps of checking all the different configurations, 20, what this is 20. Well, actually, it's not 26, I think. Actually, this is actually more than that because here you can see these are all these levels. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 30, oh, sorry, maybe, okay, I think it's more than 36 there. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Jackpot. We hit the goal. Then you could trace back from here. Who's my parent for this one, which generated this node, right? So this fella. Then who is the parent that generated this node? This fella. Then you trace back. So Xiaowei pointed out a very important point. This can go to infinity, especially if your problem is more complex, not infinite, near infinity, right? This is only based on what? How many cells? How many squares? 9. Expand this to 4 by 4. I think you can see the problem. This tree structure will be very large. So once it's large, then you have to find your way through this. It's going to be headache, slow, right? So I think you can sense that this is not a very effective way. Agree? Correct. But it's a better way. Voila, next one. Depth first. Follow? So we have breadth first, now we have depth first. So what is depth first? Depth first is the maybe opposite of your breadth first. So instead of expanding sideways, you expand vertically. Vertically, right? Horizontally, vertically. So it's no longer horizontal, this is vertically. So you expand the deepest unexpanded node. Right? Just like earlier one was, you expand the shallowest unexpanded node, right? At the horizontal level. So this is vertical. That's how it works. It's still this is last in, first out, right? Last in, first out. The green lines, the green colors represent those we are not explored, we are not searched, right? So you put the successor in front. So this one is last in, first out. So it's a bit different now. So tell us how this work from A, and what you do. So this is the second point. We go back to B now. Now, in the earlier one, breath first, what happens? After this, we go sideways. Remember, we go sideways because it's a breath first. Now, in this depth first, see here, you come down here. So I think you can guess really what I'm going to do next step. Right? I don't go to E, I go to H. Now, if you go back to this one, what happens? What do you think will happen?
You will never reach a conclusion.
It can reach a conclusion, but
it takes forever for 20 onwards one.
Correct. So imagine 1, 2, 5, 10, here, 20, and you go down, this one. And it goes to the next one. But I can reach the goal early on. Effective. So you can guess already. The depth first has a problem, right? But it's again, it depends on your solution, right? If you want this, what is it? 5, 3, 1, 2, 5, 3, 6, 7. What is it? I can't see. 1, 2, 6, is it? I'm not sure. I can't see this one. Right? So it depends on the problem. You might get lucky and hit this one early compared to breakfast. So you can say, if I use depth first, I'll get my answer faster than this fella. If I use breakfast, compare again the same problem, right? But I want this pattern instead of this pattern. Now the depth first will hit this, find the answer earlier than your breakfast, because breakfast will have to do all this work before I come back here. The depth first can do this, but at the same time, like Jia Wei said, this fella can go a few hours, So only on this 3x3 problem. But on the other hand, there are also advantages in your breakfast. Breakfast depending on your answer. So there's no one good answer. This is basically, these are the simple methods. That's why we have later on, with all these genetic algorithms, you have this swarm intelligence, you have this artificial neural networks, which is better than this, right? So again, good question. So this you all can see the challenges of that first, right? So we are here. Right, so we're here. So after that, you go down here, you go down here. Now after this, what happens? You do not go E, you don't go sideways, you go down again. So you can try at home. Later on when you're free, you can try it. On the same problem we have, if we want to find G. So G will be, if we use the breakfast, I will find a problem, find the answer, find the answer to my problem earlier than my breakfast. Now this is getting very bad. If this one has a lot of children, a lot of successors after this, if it goes all the way, let's say another 10 levels, right? This one has to finish all the 10 levels before they come back to this level. So this is the disadvantage of that, right? So after this, after this last one, then you go back to the other ones here, right? So here, and then finish this level, this level, and then you say this one I can't go down anymore. Draw a line here. I can't go down anymore, right? So then go back to the other node at this level, right? At this level here, and then check. Is this my destination? No. Is it G? No. So what happens? Again, you can't go to F. You have to go to J. See that? So I think you can begin to see the problem now. One of the weaknesses, and also some of the weaknesses and some of the disadvantages of using the depth first. But of course, then the next question is, if it's so lousy, why do we have this? Anyone? Because it's still effective depending on your problem. Then the next question will be, but the problem is I do not know what my problem space looks like. This is my problem space, right? These are all the possible answers I have for this problem that I have. How many? 4. To show to use, right? I don't really know. You have to try it out, right? Because if you know the problem space and know where the answer is, of course you know, because we can see. Hey, you got sorry, wrong, salah. Please return back. You're going wrong way. Right? Is we can see, but don't forget I said before. This is one of the example. Maybe I'm not said before. This is an example of a blind search. It is blind. Cannot see. Cannot see. You can only see here. You can only see after this. Is there something down here? No. That's all I can see. You cannot see so far away. Is it clear? Right? So after, yes, anyone?
So like the depth first search, right? I think is it like applicable for stuff where there's only one answer? Is it? There's no if it's only one answer, so this method will be much faster than the what's it called? The breath search.
Breath first. Breath first, sideways.
The BSF, yeah.
No, I think
it
okay. Again, very good question. Let me think through. I think sometimes Zhongyi, good. It is not actually brute force. Okay, in a way, it is a bit like brute force. You're trying all the possibilities, but the possibilities are how do you even if we consider all the possibilities, can I minimize my possibilities? That's what I'm trying to do, right? So you see, if you're here, what I go? I can go breakfast, I go all the way down. Right? This is my strategy. Then the breakfast will be I go sideways. So Jia Wei's question was, what's the question again? They're saying that
application for this DFS.
Okay. Okay, I think you're asking about the answer. In this case, it's very clear. I want to go to G. So that is my answer. That's my solution. I want to go there. Okay. The other answer is I want to find the shortest path, the shortest way for me to reach G. So find me the answer. So in this case, the keyword is shortest. Right. So so in a way, there's one best answer. But the next answer may not be the best because it's still okay. But since I think later on become clearer. Later on, you can see. Xiaohui ask me again later on. If you find that I've not answered your question here, I think that's the answer later on. So in this case, you still once you hit this one, I think you still need to trace back. So there's a tracing back process in this, right? Because you can't be going all this like this, right? You find this, right? You can see this in my path. I go like this, so you cannot. So after that, you have to go trace back who is the father or mother, the parent of this node, right? And you check back here. Then you check back, so you can find that actually there's one way to trace back. There's not one way. So this one actually is that's how it works for the depth first. Now, after highlighting the weaknesses of this method, depth first, because especially so in a way, if you have many different, I suppose one way is that if you can find out what does your problem space looks like, right? And of course, if the problem space has a lot of levels here, right? You will not want to use that first because you can go all the way down, wasting your time, right? But of course, it's easier said than done. I may not know what is my problem space. So again, just to share with you, some of the MA students have this problem of energy management. They need to find the best way, finally search for the best way, right? If you replace the word find to search, then you begin to see why it's so important to understand and to find all these different search strategies to find answers, right? So in this case, they want to find the best way to manage energy. So if you know the problem space consisting of only very few layers, right, then it's okay maybe to try the depth first. But if there are many different layers, for sure, you should not be using depth first because it can go all the way down before it come back. So it may not be very good, right? Okay. So again, going back to the previous example here, after finishing this point, I'll erase this. right? After looking at this, checking this node, is it my destination? No. Then you move on next one. So again, you go back and look at the next level down. Now, if this one has another layer after this, what do you think will happen? It will not go to here. It will go back. It will go all the way down again, right? So again, you can clearly see this is one of the disadvantage of the depth first. So after this, is it my destination? No. Then you go all the way back to C. Not even here, because this is actually not expanded yet. This C. It's not expanded. We went this way, right? We went this way, and then only come back here, right? So after this, you have to go to here, right? So is this my destination? No. Then you can see, and my G is just so-called, just so near, right? My breakfast would have find this earlier at this point. After this, what is going to happen? Because it's a depth first, I need to go down here. Go down here. Just after this finish, is in my destination? No. Go back again. Come here. Then only you go to my final G, right? And then of course after that, you have to figure out how to trace back the path. So you know that G is at the right-hand side corner at level 3. Right, this is level 3 at level 3 and the fourth node, right? Fourth node and level 3. We need to trace back. Who's my parent? And then after this was my parent. You try to trace back and find A, C, G so fast, right? But after doing all the search, so the tough problem will be searching for the answer. Once you find the destination, what you're looking for, then you just trace back as faster. Right? So as a result, last in, first out. Okay, go back now. Last in, first out is here. Put the successor at the front. So in this case, it will be something like this A. This is I think B. What is this? This is what? A, B, C, B, C. I think probably this is B. And then this is E, F. G, this is H. That's what we call this is the front of my queue. I'm sorry, I'm writing using a mouse, so you can see I'm struggling. Right? Chung-Yi, clear? So this is actually last in, first out. So this one will report first. So this is more towards the computer programming. So this is how you actually organize your queue. So the first one will be pop back. So after this will be G, right? So trace back. Okay, now this one, you're welcome. So this one, don't worry too much about this pseudo code, right? This is actually just to show you how we can actually do it. You write a program to do that first. So so far we have seen already the limitations, some of the weaknesses of the depth first. But of course, having said that, the depth first still has certain value. It's still useful, right? So what we do? So now we say that I don't simply allow you to go all the way down. I limit you after say 5 level. I say stop. Do not go further down, right? Go back. So you proceed to check all these levels first, all the 5 levels first. So it makes sense, right? So imagine this one goes to like Jiawei said, it goes to 1,000 different levels. And the answer is here. Of course, we can see, but sometimes we don't know, right? So some smart researchers say, no, this is not a good way. So let's limit this. I still want the depth first, but now I limit you. So they come up with depth first search with depth limit L. So we call it depth limited. So now I don't simply let you go in one direction freely. I will limit you to say the limit of L. Now, this one, if we look at it closely, I'm quite sure you see. Sir, what is L? That one up to the user to define. Right? Actually, there's another version later on. After this, I think from the notes you can see. After this, there's another one, which is a variation of this. right? So that is, we assume, what does it mean? It means that we assume that after the limit L, you assume that they do not have any successors or children after this, after that. If you say this is L equals to 2, that means that you cut off at this point. So at this point, we assume that after this, no more successors or children after this. So next one, of course, you go here. So in a way, it's a sideways, right? So now this is a footnote here. Well, now what does that means? It means that this is a special case of this that first, where your L equals to infinity. So you see, your that first is a special case of your that limited search, because if L equals to infinity, then it becomes this. Okay, so it's the footnote here, and this is actually how you now. After that, you finish all the level L, then of course you move the next batch again. Let's say 5, 5, 5. So we can block of 5 in terms of your depth. So this is what we're trying to say here. Let's show you how it works. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. This is say in case of if you limit to level 3. So we call this level 0, level 3. So after this, you have no more successors. So you finish all this and then maybe another 3 levels after this. Right? So in a way, of course, why do you have to study this that limited search? Because people have done comparisons and able to measure this and say that limited is a better way compared to your that first, because it goes to infinity. Now, next one is still not good enough. So what do? We now do iterative deepening. So as time goes on, your the L itself will start to increase. It's no longer static. It's no longer fixed. Right? Let's say we fix it to 3 in this case. Now, after doing this, you find that I still can't find my answer, my goal node or my destination. Next time round, after this, I will now expand to maybe 4. Right? And then, so down here, I will have 4 levels to look at. Then, of course, if you still cannot find, then you increase it. So in a way, you have increasing blocks so that hopefully you find the answer better. That's how it works. Okay, so this one is intuitively, this is first one, of course, first you put 0, the L is 0, and then you put L equals to 1. So L equals to 1, you can look at the next level, right? After that doesn't work, yes. And I think there's a question on the chat box. All this search methodology only apply to one-to-many relationship? I am not too clear what you mean. Can you explain a bit more? I can only guess what you're trying to say. Again, I'm not sure what you mean. I can guess, but no point for me to guess. If you can explain further.
Sir, do you hear me?
I can hear you good.
I mean, it's like, for example, like if you start from the one node, right? You only expand to another. So, and then meaning that if from A you only go to B and B go to
wait. Okay, sure.
Answer.
Okay.
One to many meaning that A, B, and then B to D, and then you start from B, then you expand to many, so one to many. So I mean that if like from C, like there are like
2.
2, something like that.
Basically, you need to find out who are your successors, who are your children from that node.
But if my successor is not only got 1, is it possible to have more than 1?
In this case, isn't it? B has 2, isn't it? Is that what you're saying? B has 2 successors. After B is B and E.
Hello.
Yes,
sorry,
I can hear you.
My line a bit like
Okay.
May I can you repeat your question again?
Answer. You see here, After B, my successor, there are two of them. It's not only one. A to A is only A also has two children. Right? So is that what you mean? One to many?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Something like that.
It's one to many, always one to many. Now, go back to another. Right? So successor in this case is actually can be three. One to many. You just want to see after that parent here, how many children does this one have? Huh? Is it clear? Is it what you're asking? It's one to many. In this case, it's not one. There's no one to one because it depends. This is one to one. In a way, it's one to one. It so happens this one has only one child. So the answer is we don't limit to one to one. Actually, I don't care how many children you have, but I want to know how many children you have. Show me all your children.
For example, is it possible that for the block 9, right? For 9, for the 9.
Wait, 9.
9, then your parents only got 4. I mean, what if my parent is not only got 4? Like, I mean, like, have other parent. I have more than one parent. That's my question.
No, I don't think so. I think you see, everyone has only one parent.
Oh, so this is the fixed one, yeah. So this so all these just is only got one parent only, is it?
Yeah, correct. But the reverse is that one parent can have many children. Sorry.
So this is one to many relation. This what I asking. So all this search is only one to many relation, right? It's only got one parent.
No. Let me be clear. This particular tree structure search strategies, only this tree structure is one to many. Only this tree structure. This is what you call tree structure. I think do I have it explained here? I think I may have explained. I'm not sure. I need to go back and check. But actually, this is what you call tree structure. But you have this tree, right? The stem and then the roots, then go further down again. This is what you call tree structure.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Good. Answer the question?
Yeah. So the search got is only tree structure. Is only
no. There are many more. Many more. Sorry.
So these two is just one of them. Two of them. Yeah.
This is part of tree structure.
Okay. Understood.
Okay, thank you. Ying Yong. This solution method starts by looking at the correct. So I'm using this to explain. This is a simpler method used in one of the simpler methods used in search. Later on, you see there are many other methods, right? Correct. So your parent here will then the what you call the root itself. Then you find which are the children, and then you drill down. But again, it's still not the answer yet because you only find the structure of the tree and then you apply. Whether you apply depth first or breadth first is another method, right? Let me close this.
So then I have another question. Then how can I know that my problem is a tree structure to begin with? My solving methodology.
No, basically your problem. Then you expand. Correct. If you are playing, I think who is it? I think Jun Hao. This one same thing. The game of chess. You can actually say that if I move this particular pawn, what are the things I can do? Here, this one's here. Right. So this one is just your game. So if you are playing chess, you have the same structure again. It's a tree structure. But there are also some methods which will not have to find out what is the tree structure looks like for you to search. Those are the more advanced methods which you show later on. Correct. So if you play chess, if you move the pawn, then what's the next possible move? That's I think later I'll show you. My student who did internship with me actually asked him to do write a program to play. What's it called? I can't remember the name. After I show to you. Yeah. So this one is basically your search of where is it? This is basically your search space. This is your your search space. Sorry for my handwriting, it's very bad. Huh? This is my search space. So this is from where I want to find, I think my answer lies somewhere here. So the those of you who play chess, how many squares do I have? 16 is or 12, is it? Yeah, correct. Look, Jing, you're right. The tree structure diagram will map your whole possible answers in that space. You can see for 3 by 3, it can be quite complex already. So imagine for a chess game, is it 12 by 12? Right? So imagine the possibilities is actually immense now. So go back to, I think, Zia Wei's question yesterday. He and his friends are, I think it's Zia Wei's question yesterday. This is something that AI can do, because when this thing explodes, when it's so large, how can the human keep track of what are the possible answers? So you can see this one expands, even by 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, right? 5 by 5 is nothing, in the real world for this kind of problem. But the problem space is getting more complex now, right? So therefore, that's why AI comes in, right? So you can't use the simple methods like what I think was Zhongyi was talking about, brute force. Brute force, later I will explain to you why brute force doesn't work, right? Okay, very good discussion. Thank you. Hopefully I'll explain to you what I'm trying to say clearly. Where am I? Iterative depth first, right? We've done that. This is this. Iterative depth first, actually you try to expand further and further. You keep changing your value. So this one is L equals to 2 now. So you can see next round you have L equals to 2, right? So you can go further down. Then of course you L equals to 3. I can see expand further down. Now we have 3 levels, the limit to 3 levels. And it goes on. Now, something to remember, iterative deepening search. Although the name is seems very different and very unique, it's actually similar to your breadth first search, as it will explore a complete layer of new nodes before going to the next level. So this is actually expand 2, 3, 4, right? Things like that. Now then another variation is we are talking about starting from the the source, the starting node to the end node. What about we have both 2 agents now? One starts from S, the other starts from G. That's what it means. So the idea is you will simultaneously search forward from S to, and then as a result, and also you start from backwards, G to S. So you start from S onwards, the normal one, which we have talked about before. So basically what it means is that so if this is your goal, and this is your starting point, right? So you can start from here, one search team, if you like, or search strategy. The other one is you start from here as well. So I have 2 of them starting. Now, when these 2 fellows meet, then I stop. Let me explain again. In here, better to explain using this. Right? So you stop when both the 2 agents meet somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, right? So this one. Of course, you need to keep track of the intersection of the 2 open sets of nodes. So that who is going where, keep track of that. Now, what does searching backwards means? Basically, it means that you need to figure out who are the predecessors. I mean that again, the so-called children, quote unquote, the children of G, right? Because you're searching backwards, right? So imagine if this is my destination here, right? I'm trying to search that. So instead of searching forward like here, I'm searching backwards. So you need to find who are the parents of the particular node you're searching for, right? So this can be difficult. For example, who are the for those of you who play chess, talk about chess, what is the parent of the checkmate, right? So checkmate can be of different form, right? Can be different configuration, different patterns. So who are who are the parent of that particular checkmate configuration. Now, what happens if you have which one do you take if there are multiple goal sets? I think somebody asked before. I think it was Yahweh. Is it talking about is there only one solution? Right? In the case of checkmate, is it one solution? No, isn't it? Of course, there are many different solutions. So, which one should I take? You take, let's say, you take this particular configuration called A. But then, when I play chess, if you write a program to play chess against your human opponent, your human might take a different answer. So your goal, not your goal, your destination pattern solution may not be the same as the human will arrive at, right? So which one do I take, right? And where to start? If there's only a goal test but no explicit list, right? You can only check for the goal, but there's actually there is an explicit list, but then the list is so huge, right? Chess is like 14 by 14, for example, right? It's 14 by 14. I'm not sure. Obviously, you can see I don't play chess. So you can see the search space can be huge. So you can't generate the list unless you have maybe like a supercomputer. That's why you need a lot of computing resources. But all is not lost because there are other ways to solve this if the search space is very complex and very large, as you'll see in the next few weeks, right? So this is what it means, conceptually, visually, right? So if this is your starting node, from here, I want to go to here, right? So depending on your whether you're using your breadth first or the depth first, you have to search all these nodes before you arrive at this point. But at the same time, why can't we start another one, start another search from the other end? So you can see here, these are the, what do you call that? If you're looking at this, checking all these points here, see, test that it is a goal node. So basically, it forms a circular wave front, right? This is the wave front, or we call it the search frontier, right? And this is another one. So this one expands. So this is so if you go one way, this one will stop after hitting this one, right? Now, on the other hand, if you try the bidirectional search, you search from the goal node. So the same concept. So imagine this is you swap this around. So instead of this is a goal node, you call this a starting node. So you search, and I can see that this is actually what happens now. If there are two of these searching going on at the same time, so at some point you meet these two frontiers will meet. These two wavefront will meet, and when they meet, you stop. Right, and you stop and say, I think I'm able to find an answer now. So then you backtrack to see how did this front how was this form to reach this point, and this one the same thing. So then you combine the two answers together to give you an answer. So this is much faster, right, for such method. Of course, what's the downside? The downside is the weakness is that you have to start two searches. This will be wonderful for maybe parallel processing, right? You have two computers running at the same time. Somehow you connect them. Once they hit a certain configuration, you find that no, that's where I can stop. Right now, some of the issues now of such search spaces when you have what you call the search spaces and you use some of these methods. Now it can fail to detect repeated states. So this is what you call a linear problem. But if this is repeated over here, right? Somehow the node is repeated. Later on, you see that it can be repeated, but of course you need to make sure that you do not repeat, right? So this one, from a simple linear problem, takes a linear time to solve. The more nodes you have, of course, linearly multiplied by k. K is a constant. But if this is you allow repeated states, so now it's no longer linear. K times number of nodes is actually maybe the number of nodes to power something exponential. Right? So you can imagine it's huge. On solve now. Okay, so we move on to one other good example, which is your traveling salesperson problem. In many books, many articles, it's called traveling salesman problem. So rather than calling a salesman, we call it salesperson. So we don't call it a man or a male or female. So person, it can be man, it can be a traveling saleswoman. You can have a salesman, you can also have saleswoman. Female can also do doing sales nowadays. So we call it traveling salesperson problem. Now, what is this problem all about? This problem is about this, as shown here. Now, you are given a list of cities. Example, I want to go to my list given to this salesperson will be, you need to visit Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Kuantan, Kuala Kemaman, what else? Kelantan, no, Kelantan. So Pahang back to maybe Perak will be Ipoh. Ipoh, we go to Alor Star. Then I said this is your list, right? These are places you must visit as a salesperson. Talk to the customer at these cities, right? So for you to visit each city, you're only allowed to visit once, right? You don't need to visit these customers more than once, right? It doesn't make sense, right? So you visit them once, and then you come back. You must come back to KL. That's where you started, for example, right? Or you come back to Ipoh. If you start from Ipoh, right? So that's the simple problem. Only two constraints, two major features, which is find me the shortest way so that I come back as early as possible to my starting point. Now, what is the goal of this problem? Right? It's very simple. Shortest possible route, shortest possible way to visit all these cities, all these customers at each city. You can have different types of answers. Of course, what answer would be? You miss out Penang, or you miss out Ipoh. Right? You didn't visit Ipoh. You come back early, but you fail because you must visit each of these cities given to you once and come back. Right? Now, then you have valid. You visit all the cities, all the customers in each of these cities, but the time you spend or the time you spend, the distance you travel is actually very large. Doesn't make sense. For example, I go to if my city contains Kuantan, I go to Johor Bahru first before I go to Kuantan, right? So the answer is actually non-optimal. It's not the shortest. There's also something called local optimum. It's short, but it's still not the champion, not the shortest of all the possible answers, right? So you can see such a problem can have many short answers, can have many different short answers, but it's not the shortest one. I want to have the shortest one. Let me give you another example. What I mean by local optimum. Local optimum is that, for example, okay, I think good example with this. In the game of badminton, who's the champion now for Malaysia? Lee. I know it's Lee. So another Lee. Last time was Lee Chong Wei, right? No, I can't use that anymore. Anyone knows who's the current badminton champion for Malaysia? Lee Ziwei, is it? No. Lee Zijia, is it? Okay, thank you. Kasing. Thank you. So Lee Zijia is the champion, right? But he is the champion for Malaysia. But is he the best player in the world? No, I want the best player in the world. This Japanese guy, maybe he's the best player in the world, right? So the local optimum means that you are the champion in your own country. Your own, it's not the best, but it's still good enough for that country, for that region. But if you want the best answer, that means that no one is better than him. No one is better than Lee Zijia. So the question will be, if you say Lee Zijia is the world champion, then I ask you, is there anyone better than him? Then you say, yes, there is. Then you fail. Means Lee Zijia is not the global best badminton player in the world. So that is your global. Understand? It's a good example for you to understand, right? That's how I mean by that. Okay. Now, let's look at some of the mathematics behind it. Simple problem, right? So now if you are given a starting point, so I'm okay because you guys are going to one. Okay, stop it. Okay, I'll stop here. Take a break. I'll stop it as well. So I'll give you a short break and then we come back 5 minutes. Okay, no problem. Just that in the past 2 years, the group said, don't want to finish as soon as possible. You guys are good. Okay. I also welcome a break. As I can see, I'm talking for 1 hour plus. So 5 minute toilet break. Okay, I went back yet. Can I resume? Okay, can I resume in about next minute? It's okay. I think we're fine. Let's continue. So if you look at the one example of a search problem, this is actually the failing salesperson problem. Now, if you are given a starting point, right, and what we call that means going forward and coming back is the same. So actually, where if you have your n cities, right? So n cities, what is the number of possible combination? For example, I go to KL, Malacca, and then Malacca go to Kuantan. I can also go from KL to Ipoh, Ipoh to Kuantan, Kuantan to Alostar, and then Penang, right? So those are the more possible combination. Now, it can be n minus 1 factorial over 2. Now, let's try and look at it. If you have only 25 cities, 25 cities is not a major problem. It's considered a small problem, right? I can have a few hundred cities to visit in my list. So for that, if I have only 25 cities, if I have 25 cities, how many combinations will I have, right? So if you put the numbers inside this equation, you find that approximately you have about 3.1 to the power 23, 10 to the power 23 different combinations. So again, this is something that we discussed yesterday, not yesterday, a few days ago, with Ziawe and his friends. So can you do this as a human, not a machine? So I want you to find out what is the best way to go from KL to Penang if I'm given 25 cities to visit in my list. Now, assuming I'm very fast, I can come up with one answer, one combination, and then of course I need to measure. Remember, we talked this before, every solution must be measurable. So if I tell you that I can give you one answer, I am very fast. I take 1 nanosecond only, right? Of course, it's not possible. That is a human. I can do it, but assuming I can do it, then I think Chung Yi talked about this before, just now, earlier on, what they call brute force. That means that I give you all the combination, I give you all the 3.1 times 10 to the power 23 different combinations. Of course, there will be a, what do you call it? Then we measure. Of course, once I give you, you measure. I give you, you measure. Of course, you said that then you keep the shortest one. It will take me all the combinations, 10 million years. You can work it out, right? How many seconds? How many can I do per second? How many can I do per minute, per hour, per day, per week, per year? It will take me 10 million years using what we call brute force. I will try all the possibilities, all of them here. This one, I can guarantee you that I'll give you the shortest answer. I will give you the world champion, not a Malaysian champion. But can I wait for your answer after 10 million years? Ziwei, does it answer your question? I think your earlier question, you and your friends' earlier question, right? Why can't we use brute force? Because it will take too long, right? Now, even if I can do this using a machine, my machine will take 1 nanosecond for each calculation, right? I generate for you the solution, but I'll need to do it. It will take 10 million years for me to generate those 3.1 different combinations, right? And then after you generate one answer, I'll need to measure what's the total distance, because my problem is I need to find the shortest possible answer. So it's not just answer, right? I want to have a shortest possible answer. And again, I'm looking at this part, valid. That means that I need to visit all my 25 cities. So here, this is what I'm talking about. It is symmetrical, meaning that the way I go and the way I come back is the same. right? The distance from here going this way, left to right and right to left is the same, right? I will have these possibilities, possible combination. Now, if I don't have this combination, that means that the way I go and the way I come back from each pair of cities not the same. Means I go one way and I come back a different way, right? That's because the road is only one-way street. For example, I can think of one example, which is when I travel to Ipoh, those days, the old days, I know that during the Karak Highway, I think it branches off. I can't come back the same way, right? So maybe there's a bit of difference there. So now it's worse. I have n-1 possibilities, factorial possibilities, no longer divided by 2. So in this case, it will be 6.2 now. 6.2 times 10 to the power 23 different combinations. Follow? Okay, now, this one is a map of the United States of America, USA. And of course, I've shown here some of the states, some of the cities, towns in this map in this country called USA. I want you to visit all of the cities and then come back to the starting point. You start from here, you come back here. You start from here, you visit all these cities here, and you come back to the same point. Right? Applies. I'll let you decide where you want to start. But I want you to visit all of them. Now, I want you to visit all of them and find me the shortest path. Right? I don't want you to go, for example, go here, then you go here again. So it's zigzag, no good, right? And this is something that you will learn in your second lab, where you actually explore this problem in more detail in your lab practical. So this is the best answer. That is how you do, right? You start from here, then you go up, and then you go here. You don't go from here, you go here, right? They will not give you the best answer, right? Now, is this a easy problem, right? So in 1962, I think way before you were born, and also for some of you, maybe your parents are not even born yet, or maybe your parents are still very young, 1 or 2 years old, things like that. So this one actually is a flyer. It's a flyer telling people that solve this problem, right? Solve this problem. I give you. If you find the good answer, I'll award 10,000 USD to the best answer they can find me, right? So this was actually the example of the traveling salesperson problem, and actually someone actually pay people to find the best answer. So the large prize money, this is actually given by this Procter & Gamble. So this one actually, this prize was actually attempted. This one, this problem was actually caught the attention of the applied mathematicians. So there was a lot of simulation and then a lot of proposal, the best answer, and several papers on finding these TSP curves cite this particular example of finding this the shortest path. Now the winners of the contest was a TSP researcher, this Gerald Thompson from Carnegie Mellon University. So this he wrote the paper, he proposed the answer, he proposed the solution with his partner R.L. Clark in 1964 that reports the best tour, the best answer, right? Again, then I ask you back, are you sure yours is the shortest answer, right? You do not know for sure, but the organizer will know, because the organizer will look at this Thompson's answer and then compare. Is there anyone better than this answer, right? So they will know, but Thompson did not know. He tried his best. It's like you find me the best nasi lemak in Malaysia. You say I've eaten nasi lemak a few times in Ipoh, in Perak, in Penang, in KL, of course, and other places. But based on that information, based on those places I visited, I think the best is in XYZ. But someone said, Chung Yi said, no, I think I visited something better than yours. Now, next question is, how do you mean better? Is it because of taste? Is it because of price? What is it? Right? So you need to be able to measure again. Right? So in this example, Thompson does not know for sure that whether he had the shortest tour. Right? Now, there's a difference between finding a good tour good nasi lemak and the best nasi lemak. And because the best nasi lemak is that you can't argue, this is the best. Back to our example of badminton. You see the so and so is the best badminton player. Then I saw the list, the ranking. Then this person was actually beaten by this Japanese badminton player recently. So he cannot be the best player that you recommended. So this Gerard Thompson, right? Actually pointed out. I think when they interviewed him, he actually pointed out that a number of contestants, including himself, have submitted the identical tour. So actually, many of the contestants, those who actually applied, submitted their application, submitted their answer to this competition, had the same answer, had the same identical tour. Now, then of course the Procter and Gamble, since you have 10 different winners, how do I find the best? How do I give the 10,000 USD to the winner? So they have another layer now. They have another short essay competition. Of this shortlisted 10 of them with the same answer, I want you to write a short essay, right, on one of the Procter and Gamble products, right? I think if you know, Procter and Gamble are a big manufacturing company that actually produces things like shampoo, talcum powder, and things like that, right? Soap and things like that. So as a result of this short essay, I think Professor Thompson, Gerard Thompson, actually won the. I think his essay is the best judged by this Procter and Gamble judges, and then he was given the 10,000 USD prize money for being the grand prize winner. Now, what is this? This is I think some of you may know, this is supposedly the most beautiful woman on earth. It's a painting by Leonardo da Vinci, and it's a Mona Lisa. So this is actually, you can see on the notes here, this in February 2009, Robert Bosch actually created this. I think he's a mathematician who created. You look at closely at this picture here. Actually, it's all drawn with just one single line without stopping. One single line without stopping. Continuous line drawing. You don't draw and then you stop, right? It's just one long line. So this is an example of 100,000 CP problem of your TSP, of your trailing salesperson problem. And this is actually when you draw it out. Of course, Robert Bosch created the points, the cities nicely, so that when you draw this picture, when you connect all the lines, it becomes this picture, which is the Mona Lisa, right? So techniques for developing such point sets have evolved through the years through this Bosch and Greg Kaplan. So I think the also want to find out, if I give you this 100,000 point problem, right? Find me the shortest one, but still give me this picture. It will give you this picture, right? And they offer USD 1,000 USD, US dollars, for the best answer, shortest one for this 100,000 city problem. I'll check any other comments, any questions so far? No one? Okay. So currently, I think the last time I checked, it was the answer. So the answer was that this is what, this is 2009 February. 1 month later, March, after they announced this competition, this Yuichi Nagata submitted an answer on March 17, 2009, about a month later. The answer was that it's 55,757,191, a difference of only 107, which is about 0.0019%, right? And this is actually so this is actually submitted by Yuichi Nagata. Actually, not too bad. I'm not sure why they choose him as a winner, but he was the winner, right? But I think Kaplan and Robert Bosch knew that this is the best answer, right? Now, Professor Robert Bosch, other than the Mona Lisa, he also did a few others. So his interest is in drawing, creating traveling salesperson problem in the form of art. These are 4 examples. This is a Mausidong. This is, I think, some sort of a nice pattern. And this is a candle soup can. And so, of course, this is Marilyn Monroe. So these are all examples of the traveling salesperson problem. You might ask, why is he doing all this? But I think the method that you use to solve these problems can also be applied in other complex, difficult, real-world problems. Now, who is this Robert Bosch? Professor Robert Bosch actually is a professor of natural sciences, and then I want to show you here. Actually, I envy his job. He only comes to office roughly 1 hour, Monday and Wednesday, 2 days. Other days, he comes in about 90 minutes. So he only comes to office only 4 days, right? And other days, you want to see him, you have to make an appointment to see him, right? So I think it's a nice job in the sense that he only comes in 4 hours, roughly maybe more than 4 hours, for 5 hours, because this is 1 hour, this is about another 90 minutes. So 5 hours a week, and then he's a full professor of natural sciences. So what does he teach? What is his expertise? His expertise in teaching calculus and also probability mathematics, probability model, and random processes. Okay, I think we'll come to the end of this topic, number 2. In summary, right? The problem formulation of a problem usually requires you have to abstract away the real world details. I think it's especially useful for you to remember when you start doing your FYP, right? Why? Once you abstract away the real world details, you can then use that to define your state space or your problem space that can be then feasibly explored using the AI methods. In this lecture, we have to see some of the simple, a few of them, a variety of what we call uninformed search strategies. Another name for uninformed is actually blind search. So you cannot see beyond your immediate neighbor or immediate problem, immediate solution of your problem that is unsolved. Now, we also look at the depth first search. Now, another one is iterative deepening search. Uses only linear space, so it's better than the other methods. Not much more time than other uninformed algorithms, so it's still all right. When you compare apple to apple, that means you compare against other blind or uninformed algorithms or search strategies. You don't compare with other more powerful methods. So just to recapping, we have looked at some of the problem-solving agents, for example, how do you solve the problem, and then we also look at what are the major preferred characteristics of a problem, of a good problem that can be solved by these intelligent methods or intelligent algorithms. We've actually looked at 6 of them. Remember, there are 6 of them. You must have, for example, you must know your initial starting configuration of problem, where your starting point is. You also must know how do you move from your current position to generate the next answer, the next solution, from the current solution, from the current where you are. Then, of course, you also need to be able to measure once I generate possible answers. How good is the answer for me to measure, so that I can then compare and pick the one that I like best, either shortest or longest, right? So the problem can be minimization, find the shortest one, or it can also be maximization, depending on your problem itself, right? We look at a few examples of such search problems. For example, the simple, naive, if I may say so, of a vacuum cleaner trying to clean the room, clean only 2 rooms, this room and the next room, right? And so the vacuum cleaner is only very few capability. It can only sense whether the floor is dirty or clean. It can only move from left to right, and also right to left, right? Things like that. We look at a few of these simple blind searches. We look at the breadth first, which is based on the tree structure of your search space. The breadth first, we then expanded this into depth first, and we find that the depth first has obvious limitations, right? So if we do not bound, if we do not constrain, if we do not limit the exploration of your depth first, right? You let it simply explore depth first. You can go into areas that will keep you away from finding the answer, right? You can sense if my search space is very large, I can spend hours and hours without coming back to an answer compared to depth first. So as a result, the depth first, there are improvements to the depth first. First of all is depth limited. Your depth limited search, that means that I do not allow you to go all the way to infinity. I want you to come back after what the user sets as your limit, for example, which is L, right? Now, further improvements resulted in the depth first search by iterative depth first. That means that I will iterative depth means that this round I equals to 1, next round I equals to 2, and so on and so forth. Iteratively changing. And lastly, we show you the example of a more detail of a well-known and also very difficult problem to solve, which is your traveling salesperson or traveling salesman problem, or commonly known as TSP. Now, this problem actually, I think you may guess, some of you, that there is actually no method that can always give you that can always give you the best answer. No, not the best, more like optimal answer. Correct? Good. So actually there's a method to do that. What's it called? You answered me before. There is actually a method that can find the best optimal answer all the time, which is what? Not CNN. Brute force. Right? Brute force is the only one that can give you guarantee you answer. But brute force, as you can see just now, it takes too long. Even if I can get one answer in 1 nanosecond, for that 25 city problem, it take me a few million years. So it's not practical. So that's why you can see that. Therefore, the simple methods like these strategies we talk about, the breadth first, the depth first, although they are quite good, but they of course they can give you answers, but of course the answers are not that good. So more modern methods, right? Artificial neural networks, and also other methods. What else is there? Expert systems, fuzzy logic, swarm intelligence, for example, support vector machines can also find answers, right? They cannot guarantee you, but of course, in the given time that they are allowed to compute, to calculate, they give you a reasonably quite good answer, and you see why they are able to perform better than your simple depth first or your breadth first method. Integrate in image. Jing Yong, sorry, this one you could explain. I don't understand.
So, right, so if let's say we look at the city problem, right?
What problem?
Yeah. Like let's say the traveling man, the salesman, it was supposed to be. Was the problem trying to find the nearest one, sir?
No, very simple. I give you a list of cities to visit as a salesman. I give you 10. I give 25. You need to visit each of these city only once, and you come back to your starting point. Simple description of the problem. Find me the shortest one. Because why? The shortest one means that I do not need to spend too much on time. I don't need to spend too much on petrol.
I see. So in that case, then what if we put in the image recognizing, as in like we let the AI understand the problem based on image instead, like how humans we understand the problem as we understand the image. We have a visual understanding instead of it. So would it help the AI I mean, like that's one way we can improve on the AI answering the question, right?
Okay, good. I understand your answer, but
Mm.
here this part. Not all problems can be replaced by image, by a picture. And in many cases, the reverse is more true, meaning that an image can be represented by a set of numbers. For example, I want to recognize the 90 of you, right? I think actually today only about 87 of you, 3 of you missing. Please, I'm taking attendance. Please tell your friends who are actually absent, unless you can produce what do you call it, medical letter or some sort of letter, you will be marked absent. Not that it matters too much, but I think you are supposed to attend all the tutorials, otherwise you get into trouble, like old days. So back to your question. If I want to recognize the 90 of you, how do I recognize each of you? You are right. I can do that by just taking a picture of you. But I can also do it the other way, which is the previous way is that I represent each of you by a set of numbers. So I will abstract away the real world details. For example, I want to see your height, your gender, whether you're male or female, what else? Your color of your hair, your weight, blah, blah, blah. So you can see. Now, if I have your weight, right, and your height, what else? Your height, your weight, color of your hair, I know it's not a good thing to do. Your race, I think Malaysia should do away with race. I don't care who you are, as long as I know your weight, your height. But Malaysia do that, right? But I think maybe it's also good in this case recognizing you, right? Whether you are, at least I can scope down rather than looking at the 90 of you. I can scope down that only a few of you are Indian, so at least I know I pick of you. So the few of you actually who belong to different race. I know that your height and your weight may not be the same, right? So that's how I can actually reduce the problem, the real world problem, the details by representing as a set of numbers. So the reverse is more true than actually having the maybe not true, having the numbers transform into an image. That actually was some work. Actually, some people do that. You're typing your password. Some of us, I represent your password by the set of by the image, by the length, by your maybe not the way you type. The one if I explain, I'll take me half an hour. But basically, the reverse is so true. But some people have done it. But because nowadays CNN is quite powerful, they want to as a result they change the numbers into image and then get the CNN deep learning to learn that. So possible, right? No, this one I don't know yet, but if you can do it, let me know. It's an interesting idea that but then again, how do you see the problem? I can't see it this way. I can't see how can be used up this way. And also I've never seen it where the PSP is transformed into image. Hey, Jin Yong, you have only about 28 weeks, to finish your FIP. This one looks like it's very difficult. First of all, you got to figure out how you transform your problem into something the AI can solve using CNN. Let me see, there was something else. Yes, correct. Not dangerous. Not applicable to all other. So basically, before the CNN, people have actually what we do is that we reduce the image into a set of numbers and then get your favorite method, to find the answer. Whether it is David Nathan or is it Jin Yong, is it Brenda or is it Yao Ting? Given that set of numbers. So for me to recognize. I think Jun Hao, yes, you are given until next year. But don't forget after this long time, FIP1, what do you do? FIP1, you only do literature review. You only explore possible answers to the problem. Short semester, some of you may not want to work on the FIP, so they've gone. When you come back, this is actually sharing with you real world experience. When you come back, first 1 or 2 weeks, you take it easy. all days, take it easy, and you don't start the work now. Start the work immediately. So then, let's say you don't start week 1, you start in week 2. Or let's say you start in week 1. You have 14 weeks, right? 14 weeks, don't forget, minus 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks for your oral presentation. That means that the department wants you to do the oral presentation week 12. Because you have so many students here, so week 12, let's say, it take a while to do it. Because it can't be done in week 14 because the lecturers, the department needs to compile the results. So week 14 is out, right? So there's only until week 12. Week 12, you do oral presentation. Now, probably 1 week before, you need to submit a report because the lecturers, the examiner need to mark. The examiner needs to look at your report before they can mark, right? So there's week 11 already. Week 11, you have to, how much time do you need to write your report or your thesis? Let's say 1 week, week 10. So you have 10 weeks to work on your project. Can do it. I don't know. I think Jing Yong is correct. It's dangerous, right? So it's dangerous and not much time, right? And then in such areas of work, since it's not tested yet, no one done before, it may not work. Correct. Then you have other assignments to handle. You're not working full time on this project, And then you have also your free time. You want to enjoy life. You want to go watch movies, all this, do other things. I say watch TV, whatever. So you don't have much time. 5 weeks going to do this. Good for you. I salute you. It's not easy. Right? If you get it done, okay. Not many can do it. You want to try? Go ahead. Good. It's good idea. But I've not seen it. So if you've not seen it before, that's why you have things like literature review. Who has done the similar thing before in that area of work? If no one has done before, then to me it's a bit risky. Question will be, why hasn't anybody think of such a thing? Maybe they thought of it, it doesn't work. So maybe that's why they did not publish this. That's what it means. So every time you do something new, you want to tell the whole world what we have done. So I think for some of you, you are also encouraged, nicely put, encouraged to do something that can be published for yourself as well as for your lecturer or supervisor, right? So that is the traveling salesperson problem. Any other interesting comments from you guys? I welcome those comments. Something interesting. I never thought of it before. Surprisingly, I'm not that smart actually. So you can see. I never thought of changing your TSP into an image processing problem. But I think the advantage is that because CNN seems to be very powerful, and later on you see why. CNN only works with images, right? And you need lots of different images. I suppose if you put the map back, and then you say this kind of solution to give you this kind of, but then how you tell that AI that based on this image, this is the best answer for your TSP. So how do you translate the problem into that? So again, just a reminder again, it's very important. I want to come back to this again. That means that in your FYP, you know the problem you're trying to solve. It is your normally real world problems, right? I think some of you want to look at, I think last year there was one group looking at trying to recognize tomato diseases, and then mango, maybe not mango. I think last year was, I remember that it was on tomato diseases and other things. So you need to be able to extract away some of those details which will only confuse you and your AI. And you cannot find out what AI can be used. So you need to extract, you need to reduce your problems, remove those problems, remove those real world details, right? So example, I think my students, two of them are working on the same problem. That is actually, I try to identify the defects of on the metal plate. The defects can be as small as less than 5 mm. That's one. And then my other student looking at small defects, little scratches, 1 mm, 2 mm on the black surface, right? So you need to be able to understand what is the problem you're trying to solve. So don't for example, in the case of the small holes on a metal plate, don't worry about the say for example the other systems. So we need to be able to throw away other things that can confuse you. So we zoom in on those problems that you're trying to, those information that's useful for you to solve the problem, right? And then from there, you apply your, I always say, there are so many methods out there. You have to apply your, what I call your favorite method. Favorite means that you, at least you, after reading enough, after reading for about 3-4 weeks, you find that, hey, this person has shown some interesting results using that method. Let me try that method, right? Because there are so many methods out there nowadays. So which one do you select? So A, you select by reading up on their work and see are they able to convince you that the method works, right? If not, then you try something else. But of course, in most cases, you will not be trying something totally new. That's out of the question because you will not know where to start, right? And then back to this again, you have only limited time. I think we calculated about 5 weeks only, or 5 or 4 weeks on this. And then for many of us, since English is not our mother tongue, we have difficulty writing, especially in the writing in the technical way, right? I think that one is covered last year. I think myself, I covered that in your year 3 under the workshop on Wednesday, right? Wednesday morning, we talked about this before, how you write a good technical report. So I think that should be it. I think just nice. We stop here. So if there are no questions, you may go for lunch. And I'll see you back on Monday, the first lab. Those of you who have lab on Monday, don't forget we have lab on Monday. Always on notes. I've released or I've uploaded onto the system already. So I think this one also will be given to you in the form of a video recording. So you can refer to that. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions? Yes, I will do the, what do you mean now? After class, after class, I need to do some cleaning, especially I think I do some a bit of editing up to combine the correct all the. No, I will try to, I think to help answer you. I will definitely upload the lecture notes, but maybe not all at the same time. I will release them bit by bit because I need to clean up a bit. So, and then Ying Hao, your question is on the upload the video. Let me shut down first. Let me shut down the recording, otherwise it will just so your question is definitely I think I've just released the video recording of last week's lecture. I will release it maybe next week because I need to do some video editing. I learned this something new for me.